Okay. I know I promised everyone health insurance, but I didn't think they'd actually want the gold plan. Who reads the policy details? I mean, really, the print is this tiny. And Gwen, you want the gold plan? Really? You're literally cleaning a bathroom like it's a war zone in Spec Ops or something. What's next? You want hazard pay for Windex fumes? Speaking of health insurance, today's story is about greed, power, and the ultimate cautionary tale. Forget virtual empires. This is a real life CEOs fall from grace. Buckle up. Let's break it down. Brian Thompson, former United Healthcare CEO, was assassinated in a shocking act of violence. The shooter? A masked individual who executed the attack with chilling precision. The bullets were engraved with words like depose, defend, and deny. Chilling, right? The reactions online are a mix of disbelief, dark humor, and outright celebration. It's grim, but why are so many people empathizing with the assassin? And here's the kicker. 66% of bankruptcies in the US are caused by medical bills. 66%. That's millions of families losing everything because they got sick. It's like getting a game over just for existing. The story gets darker. Fun fact, or not so fun. 68,000 Americans die every year because they can't afford healthcare coverage. That's the population of a small city wiped out. Not from war disasters, but because they didn't have the cash to survive. Meanwhile, in other developed first world nations, their citizens don't have to worry about that. And while their systems may not be perfect, at least that's one less issue they have to worry about. Let that sink in. These deaths aren't even counted in official reports. They're invisible casualties. Question: do you think a system like this can ever be fixed? Or are we doomed to play nightmare mode forever? Drop your takes below. Here's the thing. Healthcare in America isn't broken by accident. It's designed by choice. And greed, that's the game engine running the whole system. Now, let's talk about value-based care. On paper, it sounds amazing. Hospitals and doctors are rewarded for keeping patients healthy instead of just treating illnesses. But in practice, it's like asking a chef to cook a 5-star meal while cutting their ingredients in half and timing them with a stopwatch. The system penalizes caregivers if they don't meet impossible quotas, even when the patient outcomes are beyond their control. Honestly, it's the healthcare version of those school systems that penalize teachers when their students fail standardized tests. Like, sure, make the teachers responsible for kids who can barely get enough sleep, who don't have lunch money, or who have been set up by systematic inequality. That's totally fair, right? It's the same twisted logic. Punish the people on the front lines who are trying to do the right thing, while the execs at the top collect their bonuses for cutting costs. Imagine playing Big Ambitions with an update where your employees are only paid if your customers stay happy and healthy, but you can't give them better tools or training. What happens? Burnout. Patients suffer, caregivers quit, and executives, they collect bonuses for meeting metrics. That's value-based care in the real world. The bullets engraved with depose, defend, and deny weren't just for show. They were a message. Let's talk about social killing. The idea that systematic greed leads to indirect deaths.
Obama gives a speech And everyone loves it. It's fantastic. They think she's absolutely great. My wife, Melania, gives the exact same speech, and people get on her case.
Remember that stat from earlier? 68,000 Americans dying every year from inadequate healthcare coverage. That's like sending players into a boss fight with no weapons or health packs. How do they expect them to survive? Now, imagine this through the lens of Deus Ex, Human Revolution. In the game, Adam Jensen gets a shiny new biochip, supposedly to fix glitches in his augmentations. But this upgrade turns out to be a Trojan horse.
Your tenacity, Adam Jensen, is really quite irritating. Stop now.
I'm afraid I can't, Sal. You see, I figured it out. I know what you and your conspiracy buddies are planning. A new biochip. A software upgrade that limits what augmentations can do. You're creating a kill switch. You kidnapped Megan Reed's team to do it, and you're seizing control of the market to ensure it gets distributed.
Tell me, have you been to a limb clinic lately? Oh, yes, Mr. Jensen. You figured out our plan, but not soon enough. Dispose of him, Lemire, and this time do it right.
Remember earlier in the game when limb clinics offered a biochip upgrade to fix glitches in their augmented individual systems? Players can choose to accept or decline this upgrade. In this instance, we accepted the upgrade to see what would happen. And what happened was that limb clinics was presented as helping humanity, but secretly aligned with corporate interests. Their upgrades allowed corporate leaders to remotely control augmented individuals, effectively weaponizing them against their will. So when Jensen accepted the biochip replacement and confronted Zhao Yunru, a high-ranking corporate figure, they disabled his augmentations during the crucial mission, and this betrayal exposed how the clinics prioritize corporate interests over individual safety. Shortly after confronting Zhao, Jensen is ambushed by Jaren Amir, a heavily augmented mercenary. And because he accepted the biochip replacement in this instance, his augmentations are partially disabled for Jensen during this fight, making it much harder for him to beat Jaren Amir. This fight emphasizes the repercussions of corporate greed and manipulation, as Jensen struggles to overcome a dangerous enemy with compromised abilities.
It is asked to show the world how human enhancement technology can change it. After careful deliberation, I've decided I must do exactly that. Forgive me.
He's modified the control signal. Anyone with any biochip will be affected. He never said anything about this.
Doesn't that sound familiar? Patients are promised care, but corporate interests sneak in hidden costs and compromises, leaving them vulnerable, sometimes fatally. Limb clinics in the game are the healthcare giants of real life, prioritizing profits over people. In Deus Ex, Jensen's biochip betrayal highlights how much control corporations can wield over individuals. But in real life, the stakes are even higher, because when healthcare fails, it doesn't just make life harder. It may end it. And in a lot of cases, it does. And while we're grinding for basic survival, CEOs like Thompson are maxed out with infinite respawns. As of right now, there's little information known about the shooter's motives. Maybe the shooter wasn't just targeting a man. Perhaps he was targeting a system.
Police believe is linked to the shooter seen in surveillance video. Two senior law enforcement officials say no gun was found inside. What was found? A jacket and Monopoly money. The NYPD says nothing in their investigation so far suggests the killing was related to Thompson's personal life.
here's where greed goes deeper. I'm an advocate for scientific research and the scientific method, but when virtually every established religion warns about it, that's when I stop to analyze. Christianity calls greed a cardinal sin. Buddhism teaches the attachment leads to suffering. Islam condemns hoarding wealth. Hinduism, same story basically. But greed doesn't just hurt others. It's like cancer. Think about it. Cancer starts as a tiny rogue cell, part of the body that goes haywire. Instead of cooperating with the rest of the system, it becomes selfish. It hijacks resources, taking nutrients and energy meant for healthy cells, growing out of control and ignoring every signal to stop. Cancer doesn't just hurt the body. It destroys the very environment it depends on. It invades organs, cuts off vital function, and eventually kills the host. Greed works the same way in society. It starts small, a little corner cutting here, a small ethical compromise there, but left unchecked, it grows. It consumes resources, exploits people, and destabilizes the system until nothing's left and everything is worthless. Brian Thompson, he wasn't just part of the system. He was both the host and the disease. His greed, like cancer, didn't stop with him. It spread through policies, through value-based care, through every decision that prioritized profit over people.
Our mission and values are focused on helping people live healthier lives and making the health system work better for everyone. Data is at the core of our agenda to improve health care, which directly influences how we develop innovative consumer solutions.
And you know what happens when greed goes unchecked? It's like a bad sitcom, actually. Eventually, it gets canceled. Except in this case, the cancellation isn't funny. It's hysterical. It's really hilarious. It's really tragic. It's actually really tragic. Brian Thompson's story isn't just a murder mystery. It's a wake-up call about greed. Sure, he died quickly, but the people denied coverage, they died or are dying slowly, painfully. Forgotten casualties of a system designed to fail them. Thompson didn't just lose his life. He lost his humanity long before that. His story isn't just a cautionary tale. It's a mirror. What happens when we let profit outweigh people? When corporations treat lives as expendable resources.
Let's say I'm following a patient's tumor size. We need an MRI to see how the tumor is behaving. The insurance company will deny it. I will call them. I will say the patient needs, why? Because of this. Did you get a CAT scan first? No, they don't need a CAT scan. They need an MRI. No, they do. And I have to argue for 45 minutes. So then we start trying to hire administrators to do it for us. And that is why healthcare costs have ballooned in this country.
I see. Again, the objective of the insurance company is not to pay.
That the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, well, he was shot and killed this morning.
Gwen. Congratulations. You're approved. Full coverage. Unlimited copays. Gwen, you're going gold. Brian Thompson's story isn't just about one man's downfall. It's a reflection of a world consumed by greed, where profits outweigh people and the vulnerable are left behind. But what can we do? The ancients believed that if you want to see change in the world, you must first start within yourself. As above, so below. To conquer greed, we have to begin by confronting it in our own hearts. The opposite of greed is charity. It's sharing what we have, whether it's our time, our money, or even just kindness. Practicing responsible charity isn't just about helping others. It's about reclaiming our humanity in a world that's too often forgets it. Start small. Donate to a cause you care about, support a neighbor in need, or simply choose to give without expecting anything in return. Every act of charity chips away at the greed that weighs us all down. If we all practice this, if we all just give a little, imagine the kind of world we could build together. The system won't change overnight, but the ripples of your action might just inspire someone else to do the same. So what's your take? Can we conquer greed together? Or is it game over? Let me know in the comments. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation and the change going.